Mike Abda, Mid-Valley, another great season. I know you got a lot of respect around the league, the Wyoming Valley Conference. You know, Mike Abda's doing a great job with his program. I'm one of the first guys to say, I agree. I mean, I think you do a nice job. Let's talk a little bit about another successful season for the Spartans.
I appreciate it, John. Yeah, we just had a great group of guys this year. Faced adversity throughout, but really their ability and their positive reaction to every time we faced adversity was probably why we were successful. Ups and downs like any season, but just had a lot of great leadership, with Danny Nemitz, Mason O'Malley, Ricky Vanansky, and other guys. And just a lot of leadership in the locker room. And, I really loved just showing up in the gym every day. It was awesome just to go to practice because you knew you had a great group of guys that were willing to work. And so it was a special year for us. Anytime you could win 20 games, that's a good season. So we were thrilled, and it was awesome to experience that with those guys.
We start out at Wilkes-Barre area with that tournament. That there were 4 really good teams. Talk about getting that early season experience against some good teams and showed some stuff of what the Spartans are going to do this season against some bigger schools.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, like you said, 4 really good teams, and you have to play 2 games in 2 nights. So you're going to find out a lot about yourself in that short period of time. And the first night, we just came out and a lot of new faces in the lineup, a lot of new faces in the starting lineup this year. First real game. And didn't really adapt to the start of that game very well. Put ourselves in a hole, double digits, but fought all the way back. Had a chance to win the game against Freedom in the first round there. Had a chance with the ball late to win the game, clawed our way back. The ball didn't go in, but I was happy what I saw. And that specific game, actually, in the locker room, Danny Nemitz and Ricky Vanansky both gave really, passionate speeches in the locker room about adversity, and we're going to bounce back and we're going to bring it tomorrow. And then that next day against Wilkes-Barre, our defense was unbelievable. We played really, really well. And so even though we didn't win the championship, obviously we would have liked to play Redeemer there in that championship and have a championship game early in the season for that we can reference later on. Despite that, I felt really good leaving that tournament, just knowing what I saw there in those 2 days.
Let's talk about Danny Nemeth, seeing him burst onto the scene at a young age, and you saw that talent, this kid is going to have a nice career, and he surely did it.
Yeah. We met to collect uniforms, and I get emotional talking about it because it's, you have kids and I have kids, and they grow up so fast. And I can remember, real vividly, going to the Troop Civic Center, watching Danny Nemeth play when he was in 6th grade. This kid's going to be really good, and meeting his parents and having already coached his brother, I was really excited and all that stuff. It went so fast, man. It really, truly did. He came up as a freshman and was the starting point guard immediately. 4 years, I think over 90 games, 90-some games as a starting point guard, and that's missing. We missed 10 games the COVID year, so he would have been over 100 games. So, but more importantly, incredible player. And had one of the best seasons, you could imagine, and one of the best careers in Mid-Valley history as all-time leading scorer. But more important, I just get emotional thinking about it, that he's not going to be there. Just his personality, just being around him. Great kid, great leader, respected by all his teammates, hard worker, And I always tell people, what you see on game day is just a product of that's just a normal random Tuesday practice. That effort is there every single day, and he just strives to be the best that he can be every day. And then when your best player does that, everybody on your team has to get to that level. So. Special player, special career, and obviously we're going to miss him. But I think his legacy, and we've talked about this, when you have culture like that and you have seniors that are great, the legacy continues on. Because now, the 9 guys that we have coming back, we saw what Danny did, and some of them will pick up on that and it carries on.
Let's talk about that culture. We go back to, your playing days, coaches that influenced you, adults in your life that influenced you. You have kids, you're an educator. You take a little bit from everybody. I know I do. And you just try to say, man, this person really influenced me. or a movie when you were a kid inspired you. There's all types of different things, but it's all kind of built into that culture. So what do you credit your culture, your coaching to? You know, was it, man, I was a fantastic player, or I played hard, I grinded, but like I'm offering this, or I'm supporting them this way?
Yeah. Well, I think you said it. I mean, culture and like, you know, for me, I mean, how do you run your program type thing is you take a little bit from everything, right? I mean, I've been doing it for 13 years, but you take things that you're real passionate about and you implement them, and then you take things from other people that were successful or people that were close to you in your life, lessons you learned, and then you try to implement that into everything, everything that you do. But honestly, as a player, I was okay, and we didn't have, we didn't have the resources that a lot of these players have now, and I was definitely behind looking back at it. I was an average player, but I did play really hard, and I worked really hard within the framework of what I was able to do. So I kind of took that mentality and apply it to how you want to be as a coach and getting the players to do that. But just so many influences. It's, Jerry Dempsey was my mentor. He was my teacher, and then came to coach with me and really helped me out those first couple years when I was trying to establish my program. So some of it is things that I learned from Coach Demps. Some of the things, you learn, like you said, from family members or things from past players. And Pat Shields was my head coach. He was always really good to me, and he was like a father figure, and kind of, he's one of those guys that'll put your arm around you and kind of, build you up confidence-wise. And so I learned that from him, and little things. And I think more recently, you just see the trend, in like a growth mindset, mental health type thing. And I've really implemented that big time the last 2 years, especially coming off the pandemic. So a lot of books, we reference a lot of books. I pass around books for the guys to read. We talk about a book by Carol Dweck called Growth Mindset a lot, having the ability to, overcome adversity and face challenges. And we talk about being 1% better every day, and, just things like that. And, and then the other thing too, I always try to get it, and it's hard, obviously, because there's a lot of great coaches that are head coaches, but I try to find a staff that implements that as well. Christian Sunseri's been with me for the last couple of years, and he's former head coach, great guy. He and I are great friends now, but he really does a great job, almost like a co-coach with me now, and earn the respect of the kids. He works so hard for them, and everything that we do, he implements, and he implemented it, with the JVs the last couple of years, so that when they're coming up, they're ready. And then with the varsity guys, he and I work really well together. So it's great having him, and really on my whole staff, all the way up from fifth grade all the way up. My staff is fantastic. And, administration's been supportive and all that stuff.
I have to ask you this question only because Al Calais was here before this. Some people have bitter rivalries. Some people make something out of the public versus the private.
Yeah.
And Holy Cross kind of borders where you guys are.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about just, being around Al Calais, coaching against him, what that was like, coaching matchup. And obviously the players got to go play, but he's not going to be there on that sideline.
Yeah.
He's a lot of people have commented on social media that, what a job he did, and how they looked up to him. He kind of was taken back a little bit, like, oh, I didn't know that many people felt that way.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity here to kind of, say your piece about Al.
Yeah, I'd love to. I love Coach Calais, honestly. He's a great guy, and he and I developed a friendship over the last couple of years, for sure. And, he's a fiery competitor just like I am, but, he's a great person. And, he and I had talked many times over the years, and I really think, and going back to Jerry Dempsey, who was my mentor, he used to say all the time, like, Mid-Valley Holy Cross games bring out the best in everybody. You know what I mean? The coaches, the players, because you're going to play an Al Calais team. Like, you better be ready. And so then that brings out the best in the players and his players. And over the years, especially when I was a young coach, 25 years old, head coach, you learn a lot from him. You're looking and you're watching on film, and you're watching, things that he does, and you're like, okay, why are they so successful every year? And pick up things. For sure, you definitely do. So in that way, I definitely learned from him. And he's a great guy. And you know, coaching is tough. Coaching is tough, and to do it as long as he did, you know, I give him all the credit in the world. But more importantly, and you know, he has over 500 wins and all the tremendous accolades. But I think, you know, when I saw that he retired, I thought, man, he probably had thousands of kids that he made a positive impact on through teaching and through coaching. There's probably thousands of kids out there that are better because, you know, he was their teacher, he was their coach. So again, you know, his legacy just lives on for many, many years, because then they teach things that they learned from Coach Calais to their kids, and you know, you know, I think when he has time to reflect, I think that's what he'll be most proud of, is just that you know, he's been able to touch so many lives in a positive way. And you know, quick funny story, like when I, again, going back to the 25-year-old coach, my first year we went through exhibition season. We were undefeated, we were 6-0. And at the time, you played some league games before the holiday, and then you picked back up with the league. So we're 6-0, undefeated, you know, feeling, you know. And then we got to the league, and at the time, it was Alison Menza at Old Forge, Coach Calais at Holy Cross, Mike Morgan at Riverside, and I think we played them like 3 out of 4 games. And I remember going 6-0, and then, you know, losing those 3, and I'm like, oh boy, yeah, we got a little more work to do than I thought here, because you know, you're going up against these guys that are legends, and their programs are really good. And again, it taught me a lot. It really did. It taught me. You know, you look at okay, why are they successful? What are they doing every year that's different from the other teams? You know, what are some things that I can implement? And then, of course, you put your own twist on it. But you pick and you see things that guys like Coach Calais have, and you know, you try to take a couple of things. But I wish him the best. You know, he's a great guy, great family, and you know, wish him the best in his future.
Here at Arcaro and Janelle, always great to have those extended conversations with coaches like Mike Abda. Mike, a pleasure to see you, and yeah, congratulations on a fantastic year.
Thank you, I appreciate it.